Hello, my name's Helen. I'm going to take you through a core workout. You don't need anything apart from your body weight, and you just need to be kind of happy with and okay with the fact that you don't need to keep going up a level. I'm basically going to start very gently. It's going to start like a warm up, and then it's going to keep on progressing higher and higher. But you can always regress or stay at a lower level. Also, take breaks where you need. So don't feel that you have to take yourself there if you're not ready, but also obviously feel free to challenge yourself if you are. So we're going to start by lying on our backs. Everything's 1 minute, and you've got about 10-second break just to watch in my little demo. So we're going to start lying on our back, start really gently with pelvic tilts. So that's where we've got a natural arch in our back, and then we think about almost flattening your back towards the floor. So you tilt and arch your back away, and then it's bringing your hip bones towards your ribs. So it's arching in a little tilt. So it starts really gently. Pelvic tilts is one of those things that's a really nice thing to practice. Just generally can help with relieving lower back pain. It's good to practice this pelvic tilt. It's like almost like a brace, which you might need in exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, etc. And yeah, as you pull your hips towards your ribs, think about contracting everything towards the middle. So you almost pull your belly in towards your spine. You pull everything towards the middle. Oh, that's what I just said. I said it twice. But like you're pulling it in this way and this way, both directions. Maybe even add some little pause if you want, where you pull it over, hold, contract, and a little release. Again, this is something you can regress back to if you ever need to. We're going to repeat that in all fours. So this is kind of treating a bit like a warm up as well. So just warming up the abs. All fours, same thing with the pelvic tilt. Sometimes it's a little easier to see here. So the upper back doesn't move and the bum just kind of arches and tucks underneath. So it's not quite the same as a cat and cow. Cat and cow, your whole spine moves and arches and rounds. And this one, we're isolating just the lower back. So your tailbone tucks under and untucks. So that's the difference here. Same thing though. It's almost like stretching out your belly here and then pulling your hip bones towards your ribs here. And as you pull the hip bones in, think about pulling up towards the spine and pulling your abs in towards the middle. So it's like, it's middle and middle. Oh, what a great coach. And you can maybe even start pushing a little bit harder into your hands. Think about dragging the hands a little bit towards you and see how your abs respond to that. And again, maybe add little pauses. Perfect. That pelvic tilt is what we want to start holding when we start adding on. So we're rolling over again. We're going to keep flipping and flopping. We've got knees over the hips, hands over the shoulders. First, get that pelvic tilt. So tilt, and then your opposite arm and leg reaches away, and then reset to the middle. We reach away and a reset. Sometimes it can be quite hard to coordinate opposite arm and leg. And you're aiming for one knee to stay over the hip, one hand to stay above the shoulder. So lots of people end up pulling towards and you're moving one arm like this. You're trying to keep knee stacked, hand stacked. Now, if you start to notice that your lower back is pulling away from the floor, don't go as far, or maybe bring your knees in a little bit closer. So it can be a little bit smaller and you tap a little bit closer towards your butt. If you're finding it feels okay, and again, bear in mind, we're just gradually progressing, warming up, and you can start to tap a little bit further away from your bum. This is an option that you can always come back to. I'm going to keep reiterating that because I don't want anyone to feel as it gets harder, they're like, oh my God, there's nothing I could possibly do. Yes, you can. You can come back to this option. Roll over, we mimic it on all fours. So we're going to opposite arm and leg. So we find that pelvic tilt, tuck under, and then opposite arm and leg reaches and extends, reset, and then switch. Pointer is one of those ones that I see done wrong all the time, as people just tell me this. See what's happened with my back. And the challenge is to keep that pelvic tilt, even if your leg is a little bit closer to the floor. The other thing I tend to see is when people extend, they open their hip up, and you're going to try and keep your hips square to the floor instead of rolling the hip out to the side. So take your time in it. Maybe even add a little pause when you're extended to readjust. Picture there's something on your back. Would you be able to support in the lower back, or have you arched, or tilted or rocked your hip open? So it's one that looks simple, but it's actually really challenging to do when done correctly. Are we ready to add on? We're running on a roll over, so we're just going to add a crunch. So you're going to with those dead bugs and a crunch. So reset knees over hips, do opposite arm and leg right and left, and then you're just going to crunch up the upper body and lower back down. So again, you do the opposite arm and leg, do the other side, and then curl up and crunch and release. That crunch should be slow. It's in the name, it's a crunch rather than like a words are not my friend today. A yeet. Basically, it's a squeeze. It's a squeeze, lift, and lower. Now, if you would like a little bit more in your dead bug and the leg extension, you can start to extend the leg. Now, I see a lot of people start to do this when they do their leg all the way to the floor. You'll often find more challenge at roughly 45 degrees. So that's where it's really kind of pulling on you like this, trying to pull away from your abs. You can keep to the bent leg, or you can start to extend the leg. Perfect. Roll over. So going to a plank with a side leg lift. That shoulder resting. You'll be on your knees if you like, and you're going to do out to the side, and then a reset to go out to the side and a reset. Or you can be up on the toes, out to the side, little reset, out to the other side, and reset. Again, the challenge on this, as soon as you lift one leg up, the hip tries to open. As soon as you lift it away from the floor, it tries to arch. So that's where you're trying to level it off by tucking and squaring. Very tough to do. So if you need to, regress to your knees. And whatever is on the floor, so it's hands, you can also drop down to your forearms if you need to. You want to really, really push into it. Check again that the hips haven't dropped low or the back hasn't arched. And please, it's better to go on your knees and do it really well than on your toes and feel it in the wrong place and not be quite as effective. Perfect. Roll over. Right, you can stick to the alternating dead bug, or you can do both legs at the same time. I forgot to add the crunch in, we've still got that crunch. So you could do either right, left, and crunch, or both arms and both legs at the same time. Come in and then crunch, curl up, and lower down. So with control, extending your legs and arms in, and then curling up with a crunch, and then lowering back down. Now, if you need to, you can either shoot the legs higher and not go as long. That will be a little bit easier. You could also, again, tap the toes close to your bum instead. That's a little bit easier. Or you can go back to a previous level. But you're aiming to, as you extend, make sure you've not lost neutral in the spine. You're keeping the tailbone tucked under, the abs are both really strong. And do you notice my pace is quite slow? It's slow, and I'm even adding just a minute to pause when I'm out here, because that is tough to do. It's tough to add those pauses and hold the tension. So if you can, pause, roll over, plank again, knees or toes into a shoulder tap. I would recommend knees wider than hips or toes wider than hips. Tuck your tailbone, whoosh, load your weight forward, and your right hand to left shoulder, little pause, place it back down, left hand to right shoulder, little pause. The same thing if you've got the option to go up on the toes. The pause again is what makes it challenging. So I see lots of people doing this bam, 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 bam. That is an option, but feel the difference when you have that pause and you have to really hold. And as you do this, the temptation is to roll out into a bit more of a side plank, and the challenge is to maintain plank. So if I were to see that your hands were moving, you would just look like you're in plank the whole time. That's where this one gets really tough. When we let it open, we're letting it relax, but when we're really working to square, so you take your right hand off, you almost roll your right hip down towards the floor. To the left hand off, we'll just roll that down to keep it square and solid. And yeah, maybe use that pause to see, did you open? Do you need to re-square? Alright, we're so near done. We're in our last couple of rounds of these additions. So this next one, going for shootouts. It's the same movement but fast. So we're coming out and then crunching in fast. Shoot up quick, pause, crunch in fast. You've also got the option if you want to crunch up higher here onto the butt. So shoot out, crunch up, shoot out, crunch up. Crunch or full sit, you can choose. And again, you can do shoot out one leg, crunch up, shoot out one leg, crunch up. You can do legs high, legs not as long, you can tap. But you can stick to any of the previous options. The challenge is when you shoot out quick, you've got to slam the brakes on over your abs, slam it on, and then pull in. Slam, and pull in. Try not to let the shoulders touch the floor, whichever option you're doing. If you're shooting out as a crunch or so crunch or full sit. You're attempting to keep the shoulders away. Oi, oi, oi. Yes, perfect. We're rolling over. Right, you've got the option. You can do shoulder tap, leg lift, separately like that, knees or toes, or combine them both together. So you would do right hand to left shoulder and lift your left leg off to the diagonal, and then place it down. Left hand to right shoulder, right leg goes down to the diagonal, and place it down. I fell over on that one. Same thing, you can do it on all fours. Right hand, left leg, pause, left hand, right leg, and pause. That means it's only 2 points of contact on the floor. If it's the knees or the toes, it doesn't matter. It's 2 points. So everything's being pulled in various directions, and you're trying to maintain neutral. That's where it gets really challenging. But yeah, choose if you like to do just shoulder taps first, then just the legs, shoulders, then legs, or both together. It's a super challenging move. So please don't be disheartened or discouraged if you're not able to go up to both at the same time. And check you haven't piked up too much. That's going to be the temptation on this one. Perfect. We're just going to finish with some holds. No moving. That's tough. We're going to go into a C-sit. So start sitting up, round your back, lean back, and hold. If you start to feel this in your lower back, come up a little bit higher. Maybe even just very lightly have your hands behind to help. If you want more challenge, hands on the opposite shoulders. If you want more challenge again, reach your arms up and back by your ears. So it's really going to be pulling on you. If you want more challenge again, try lifting your feet off. And if you want more challenge again, try going with a straight leg. Keep breathing. And the challenge in this one is no movement. So sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just going to add like a twist or a leg extension or something because it makes it a bit easier. It's really challenging to hold and do nothing. So I challenge you to do it. Doesn't matter which level you're on. Just breathe in. And if you feel your back, just come up, take a little break, join back in again. We're going to be finishing with a plank hold and then down over, then just a minute of stretch. Yes, well done. Plank hold. It can be on the hands. If you're finding your wrists are a bit tired, feel free to come down to your forearms. We need to get our pelvic tuck, so not like this, tuck in underneath, hips not sagging, lift them up on either shoulders, so scoop out the abs to support the spine, and choose if you want to be on knees, if you want to be on toes. And you can just hold. So many times when my clients are in class, it's normally in class, and then people just start thinking, oh, I'm going to rock my hips a little bit, I'm going to do this, because it really is. It can be harder to add things, like we added the one arm off. That's more challenging in one way, but mentally, I say it's really challenging to just hold and freeze. If you start feeling your lower back end, just come down, take a little child's pose, release it, maybe with a couple of cat and cows, and then join back in again. You've got 15 seconds and it's all over. And if anyone saw the timer there, I said that about 19 seconds to go. It's going to feel like a long 15 seconds. Push the brown away. Push, 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 push. And breathe, breathe, breathe. Now it's 3 seconds. You've got this. 2, and 1, and relax. Pop your knees down. Sit your hips back and just hold a child's pose. Relax your head down. We're literally doing 30 seconds of 2 stretches. Done. You're out. Just breathe. I would love to know how you got on. Keep track of the things as well, like what level you got up to. So maybe you got up into the end, maybe you got to like level 2 of each one, level 3, etc. Take note of it, repeat this one in the future, see if you can improve on yourself. And maybe if you complete the whole thing, the way to add more challenges, adding extra longer pauses. Perfect. And then stretching the abs. So come to all fours and just arch your back. You might also feel this better if you come lie on your belly and arch stretch your belly out. So do what's the best stretch for you. I went for a swim this afternoon. I can feel like some water in my ear. Great. That is us. Done. If you want to do any extra stretches, please do. But if not, always give yourself praise for having done. I think it's so impressive. Everyone that works out at home by themselves, or maybe the gym by themselves, is well done, well done, well done. So yeah, really proud, really chuffed. Really grateful you picked me for your class. If you've got any questions or you want to give any things in the comments, let me know. And if not, hopefully I'll see you for another one soon. Got my coffee table here. Bye.